The morning sun rose over New Sol Colony, painting the metal domes and green fields in warm golden light. Kim Tae-ho stood at his office window, watching the daily routine begin. Workers moved between the buildings like ants, each person knowing exactly what to do. Kim Tae-ho was the colony administrator. He had been here for 8 years, watching this place grow from empty dirt into a real home. The colony now had 2,147 people. They grew food, raised animals, and lived quiet lives far from Earth. Outside his window, Kim Tae-ho could see the main plaza. Children ran to school while their parents headed to work. The farmers were already in the fields, checking their crops. Everything looked normal and peaceful. Lee Bo-ram walked into the office carrying her morning coffee. She was the chief engineer, a small woman with quick hands and smart eyes. "Good morning, Administrator," she said. "All systems are running fine." "Thank you, Bo-ram," Kim Tae-ho replied. He liked Lee Bo-ram. She was good at her job and never asked too many questions. "How are the power levels?" "Perfect. The fusion reactors are working at 80%. The water system is clean. All the buildings have heat and electricity." Lee Bo-ram sat down in the chair across from his desk. "The colonists are happy." Kim Tae-ho nodded. Happy colonists were important. When people were happy, they worked hard and caused no trouble. New Sol was known as one of the best colonies in this part of space. Other planets wanted to copy what they had built here. The door opened again. Park Dong-woo came in with a datapad in his hands. He was the communications officer, a tall man with gentle eyes. "Sir, I have the morning reports," he said. "What? News from Earth?" Kim Tae-ho asked. "The supply ship will arrive next month. They are bringing seeds, medicine, and new equipment. Also, 3 families want to move here from Earth." Park Dong-woo read from his pad. "The price of grain is up 10%. That is good news for us." Kim Tae-ho smiled. Good grain prices meant more money for the colony. Money meant they could buy better equipment and attract more settlers. Growth was always good. Through the window, Kim Tae-ho watched Choi Min-ho working in the big greenhouse. Choi Min-ho was their best farmer. He had magic hands that could make anything grow. The tomatoes and rice he grew were the best anyone had ever tasted. "The weather will be good today," Park Dong-woo continued. "No storms. Perfect for the Harvest Festival this weekend." The Harvest Festival was Kim Tae-ho's favorite time of year. The whole colony came together to celebrate their success. There would be food, music, and dancing. The children would play games. Everyone would remember why they loved living here. Lee Bo-ram finished her coffee and stood up. "I should check the water pumps," she said. "Number 3 was making strange noises yesterday." "Take your time," Kim Tae-ho said. "Safety first." After Lee Bo-ram left, Kim Tae-ho walked to his desk. He had many papers to sign today. Supply orders, work schedules, and reports to send back to Earth. The work of running a colony never ended. Park Dong-woo was still reading his data pad. "Sir, there is one more thing. The deep space sensors picked up some signals last night. Probably just space dust or old satellites." Kim Tae-ho looked up from his papers. "What kind of signals?" "Very weak, very far away. Nothing to worry about." Park Dong-woo put his pad away. "I will keep watching them." "Good. Let me know if anything changes." After Park Dong-woo left, Kim Tae-ho was alone in his office. He looked out the window again. Han So-jin was walking to the medical center. She was their doctor, a kind woman who took care of everyone when they got sick or hurt. Her medical center was small but had everything they needed. Yoon Jae-sung was near the storage buildings, checking supplies. He made sure the colony had enough food, tools, and spare parts. He was very good at his job. Nothing ever ran out when Yoon Jae-sung was watching. Kim Tae-ho loved these people. They had all left Earth to build something new. They worked hard every day to make New Sol a better place. Most of them had never seen war. They did not know about the dangerous things that lived in space. But Kim Tae-ho knew. He had seen the reports from other colonies. Pirates attacked, ships. Alien races took people as slaves. Wars happened between the stars. Space was not always safe. That was why New Sol was built the way it was. Kim Tae-ho had made sure of that. Everything had been planned very carefully. The location, the buildings, even the people who lived here. Kim Tae-ho opened his desk drawer. Inside was a small red button under a clear cover. He had never pressed that button. He hoped he would never need to, but it was there, just in case. The planet Kepler 442c was far from the main shipping routes. It took 3 months to travel here from Earth. That was good for safety, but bad for trade. Most alien races did not even know humans lived here. The soil was perfect for growing food. The weather was mild. There were no dangerous animals or poisonous plants. It was exactly what colonists needed to build a new life. Kim Tae-ho's computer made a soft sound. He had a new message from Earth Command. He opened it and read quickly. It was the usual monthly report. Numbers about population, food production, and mineral exports. Nothing important. At lunchtime, Kim Tae-ho walked through the colony. He liked to see how people were doing. In the main cafeteria, families sat together eating fresh bread and soup. Children laughed and played. Old people told stories about Earth. Choi Min-ho waved at him from across the room. "Administrator Kim, the new rice is ready to taste." Kim Tae-ho walked over to Choi Min-ho's table. The farmer had a small bowl of rice that smelled wonderful. Kim Tae-ho took a bite. It was perfect. "This is excellent work," Kim Tae-ho said. "The best rice I have ever tasted." Choi Min-ho smiled with pride. "I used a new growing method. We can grow 30% more rice in the same space." "Wonderful. Send the details to Earth. Other colonies will want to learn this method." After lunch, Kim Tae-ho visited the school. The children were learning about Earth history. Their teacher was showing them pictures of the old cities. The children had never seen Earth, but they listened with wide eyes. "Will we ever go to Earth?" one little girl asked. "Maybe someday," the teacher said. "But this is your home now. This is where you belong." Kim Tae-ho smiled. The teacher was right. New Seoul was home now. It was a good home, far from the problems of Earth. Here, people could live in peace. As the sun began to set, Kim Tae-ho returned to his office. Park Dong-woo was waiting for him with worried eyes. "Sir, those signals from this morning. They are stronger now, and they are getting closer." Kim Tae-ho felt his heart beat faster. "How much closer?" "Maybe 2 days away, maybe less." Park Dong-woo handed him a data pad. "These are not human signals." Kim Tae-ho looked at the data. The signals were strange, unlike anything he had seen before. They were organized and purposeful. "Someone was coming to New Seoul. Have you told anyone else about this?" Kim Tae-ho asked. "No, sir. Only you." "Good. Keep it that way for now." Kim Tae-ho thought quickly. "Send a message to Lee Bo-ram, Han So-jin, Yoon Jae-sung, and Choi Min-ho. Tell them to come to my office tonight. Emergency meeting." What should I tell the other colonists? Kim Tae-ho looked out his window. People were finishing their work for the day. They looked happy and relaxed. They had no idea that their peaceful life might be about to change. "Tell them nothing yet," Kim Tae-ho said. "But start checking all the emergency systems. Make sure everything is ready." Park Dong-woo nodded and left quickly. Kim Tae-ho sat alone in his office as darkness fell over New Seoul. The colony looked beautiful at night, with warm lights in every window. It looked like the perfect place to raise a family and live in peace. But Kim Tae-ho knew that peace was not always possible. Sometimes people had to fight to protect what they loved. He hoped it would not come to that. But if it did, New Seoul was ready, more ready than anyone could imagine. In the cold darkness of space, 6 large ships moved toward the small planet. They were black and covered with spikes, like metal monsters swimming through the stars. Inside these ships lived the Vorthak. War Commander Krexthul stood on the bridge of his flagship. He was 8 feet tall, with gray skin like stone and claws that could cut through metal. His eyes glowed red in the darkness. Behind him, dozens of Vorthak warriors prepared their weapons. "How long until we reach the human planet?" Krexthul asked his navigator. 2 days, Commander. Maybe less if we push the engines harder." Krexthul smiled, showing teeth like broken glass. He had been hunting humans for 3 years. They were weak and soft, good for working in mines and factories. Human colonies were easy to capture. "Tell me about this target again," Krexthul ordered. Sub-Commander Vextar stepped forward. He carried a datapad with information about New Sol. "It is a farming colony, Commander. No weapons, no defenses, just humans growing food." "How many humans?" "About 3,000. Mostly families with children. They have been there for 8 years. Krexthul walked to the big window that showed the stars. Somewhere out there was New Sol, full of humans who had no idea what was coming. "Perfect. We will take them all. The strong ones can work in our mines. The weak ones can serve our warriors." The Vorthak Empire was huge, covering hundreds of star systems. They had conquered 17 different alien races. Each time, it was the same story. The Vorthak arrived with superior numbers and weapons. The enemy surrendered quickly. Those who fought were killed. Those who gave up became slaves. "What do we know about their defenses?" Krexthul asked. "They have none, Commander. Our spies checked the planet 6 months ago. No military bases, no weapon systems, just farms and houses." Vextar looked at his data. "They do have some space sensors, but very basic ones. Security forces? Maybe 20 guards with simple weapons. Nothing that can hurt our ships." Krexthul was pleased. This would be easier than he thought. Some colonies tried to fight back with hidden weapons or surprise attacks. But New Sol looked completely helpless. "How many warriors do we have?" Krexthul asked. 3,000, Commander, 500 in each ship, all armed with plasma rifles and energy shields." "Excellent. We outnumber them, and we are better armed. This will be over quickly." Krexthul had done this many times before. His fleet would arrive at the planet. They would demand surrender. Most colonies gave up immediately when they saw the Vorthak ships. A few tried to run or hide. None had ever succeeded. The Vorthak had ruled their part of space for over 1,000 years. They were born warriors, trained from childhood to fight and conquer. Each Vorthak was stronger than 3 humans. Their weapons could cut through any armor. Their ships could destroy entire cities. "Commander, we are receiving a transmission from the Empire," the communications officer announced. "Put it on the main screen." The face of High Admiral Zorthak appeared on the screen. He was ancient, even by Vorthak standards, with scars covering his face from 100 battles. "Krexthul, what is your status?" the High Admiral asked. 2 days from target, Admiral. Everything is proceeding as planned." "Good. The Emperor is pleased with your recent victories. He expects you to bring him many new slaves from this human colony. I will not disappoint him, Admiral. These humans will be easy prey. Do not be too confident, Krexthul. The humans have surprised us before in other systems. They are more clever than they appear." Krexthul dismissed this warning with a wave of his clawed hand. "That may be true elsewhere, Admiral, but this colony is different. No weapons, no soldiers, no defenses, just farmers and their families." "Very well. Complete your mission and return to base. The Empire has other targets waiting." The transmission ended. Krexthul turned back to his warriors. They were checking their weapons and armor, eager for battle. The Vorthak lived for war. Peace made them weak and restless. "Listen to me," Krexthul shouted. His voice echoed through the ship's corridors. "In 2 days, we will capture a human colony. There will be no glory in this fight, but there will be profit. Each of you will receive your share of the slaves and resources." The warriors cheered. They banged their weapons against their shields, making a sound like thunder. The younger ones were especially excited. This would be their first time fighting humans. "Remember the rules," Krexthul continued. "Kill only those who resist. The rest are worth more alive. Children and females first. They work harder when they are afraid. Strong males go to the mines. Old ones can serve food and clean waste." Sub-Commander Vextar approached with battle plans. "Commander, how do you want to deploy the troops?" Krexthul studied the holographic display of New Sol. The colony was small and spread out, perfect for their attack strategy. 3 ships will attack the main settlement. 2 ships will block escape routes. 1 ship stays in orbit to provide support. Krexthul pointed at different locations on the map. "Standard formation. Overwhelming force from multiple directions." What about their communication systems? Jam everything as soon as we arrive. They cannot call for help if they cannot send messages. The plan was simple and effective. The Vorthak had used it dozens of times before. Surprise, speed, and superior numbers always won. In the ship's training area, young warriors practiced combat techniques. They fought with practiced swords and shields, preparing for battle. The older warriors told stories of previous victories, teaching the young ones what to expect. "Humans are weak," said veteran Zexlock. "They break easily. Their bones are soft. Their skin tears like paper. Do not expect a real fight." "What about their weapons?" asked a young warrior. "Simple projectile weapons, useless against our armor. A human rifle cannot even scratch Vorthak's skin." The young warriors laughed. They had heard stories about other alien races, the fierce Krillian berserkers, the cunning ethereal mind warriors. But humans were known as the weakest race in the galaxy. In the ship's war room, Krexthul studied intelligence reports about human behavior. According to Vorthak scientists, humans were social creatures who valued family bonds above personal survival. Threaten their children, and they would surrender instantly. "Commander," called the sensor operator, "I am detecting the human planet. It is exactly where our spies said it would be." Krexthul moved to the sensor station. On the screen, he could see Kepler 442c, a small blue and green world that looked very much like Earth. Perfect for growing food and raising families. "Any sign of defensive systems?" "Negative, Commander. I see agricultural areas, residential zones, and some industrial buildings. No military installations. Other ships in the area? None. The planet appears to be completely isolated." Krexthul was satisfied. New Sol would fall without a real fight. The humans would surrender as soon as they saw the Vorthak fleet. Another easy victory for the Empire. "Send a message to all ships," Krexthul ordered. "Prepare for final approach. Check all weapons and boarding equipment. In 48 hours, we will own a new human colony." The Vorthak ships increased speed, racing toward their target. Inside each vessel, hundreds of warriors prepared for battle. They sharpened their claws, charged their weapons, and dreamed of victory. None of them suspected that New Sol was not what it appeared to be. None of them imagined that the helpless farmers were already watching their approach. None of them realized they were flying into the most carefully prepared trap in human space. The Vorthak had conquered 17 alien species. They had destroyed countless cities and enslaved millions of beings. They believed they were the strongest race in the galaxy. They were about to discover how wrong they could be. War Commander Krexthul stood on his bridge, watching the stars pass by. In 2 days, he would add another victory to his record. Another planet would bow before Vorthak power. He had no idea that he was leading his entire fleet toward destruction. The hunt was about to begin. But the Vorthak were not the hunters. They were the prey. Kim Tae-ho sat in his office, watching the clock on his wall. The numbers glowed red in the darkness, 2347. In his hand was a small device that showed 6 blinking dots moving toward New Sol. The alien ships would arrive in less than 24 hours. The door opened quietly. Lee Bo-ram, Park Dong-woo, Han So-jin, Yoon Jae-sung, and Choi Min-ho entered the room. They looked tired but alert. None of them seemed surprised by the late meeting. "Sit down," Kim Tae-ho said. "We have a problem." Lee Bo-ram closed the door behind her and activated a small device. The room filled with a soft humming sound. "The room is secure now," she said. "No one can listen to us." Kim Tae-ho looked at each person carefully. These were not ordinary colonists. They were people he trusted with his life and the lives of everyone in New Sol. 6 alien ships are coming," Kim Tae-ho said. "They will arrive tomorrow. Park Dong-woo has identified them as Vorthak vessels." Han So-jin leaned forward. "How many ships?" 6 warships, probably carrying 3,000 warriors. Park Dong-woo pulled up data on his pad. "Standard Vorthak attack formation. They think we are an easy target." Yoon Jae-sung smiled without humor. "They are about to learn differently." Kim Tae-ho stood up and walked to his window. Outside, the colony looked peaceful. Most people were asleep in their beds, dreaming of tomorrow's work. Children slept safely in their rooms. Families were together and happy. How long do we have? Choi Min-ho asked. They will enter orbit in 18 hours, Park Dong-woo answered. Based on Vorthak tactics, they will demand surrender immediately. When we refuse, they will attack. Lee Bo-ram was already thinking about defensive systems. I can have everything ready in 12 hours. The main weapons are charged and hidden. The shield generators are on standby. What about the civilians? Han So-jin asked. The real civilians who do not know about our mission. This was the hardest part of Kim Tae-ho's job. New Seoul had 2,147 people. Most of them were real colonists who just wanted to farm and raise families. They had no idea that their colony was actually a military base disguised as a farming settlement. We will protect them, Kim Tae-ho said. That is why we are here. 8 years ago, Earth Command had chosen this location carefully. Kepler 404c was on the edge of human space near several alien territories. It was perfect for growing food, but it was also perfect for watching enemy movements. The colony was real. The farms were real. The families were real. But hidden beneath, the peaceful surface was one of the most advanced military installations in human space. Choi Min-ho, how are your people? Kim Tae-ho asked. Ready, sir. All 47 of my farmers are standing by. Our equipment is hidden but operational. Choi Min-ho had spent 8 years pretending to grow crops. In reality, he commanded a unit of Earth Defense Force Special Operations soldiers. Yoon Jae-sung, supply lines are secure. All weapons and ammunition are distributed. The heavy equipment is ready to deploy. Yoon Jae-sung managed more than food and farming tools. His warehouses held enough military equipment to fight a small war. Han So-jin, medical facilities are prepared for combat operations. I have 36 trained medics ready. The hospital can handle battlefield injuries. Han So-jin was not just a doctor. She was a military surgeon who had saved lives in 3 different wars. Lee Bo-ram? All systems are green. Power at maximum. Defensive weapons charged. Communication jamming ready. The orbital platforms are online and waiting for orders. Lee Bo-ram was perhaps the most important person in the room. She controlled every piece of hidden technology on New Seoul. Park Dong-woo. Intelligence is solid. I have been tracking Vorthak movements for months. This is a standard raid force, not a full invasion fleet. They expect easy victory. Park Dong-woo did more than handle communications. He was Earth intelligence, watching and listening to everything that happened in this part of space. Kim Tae-ho returned to his desk. In the drawer was that red button he had never pressed. Tonight he might finally need to use it. The Vorthak think we are helpless farmers, Kim Tae-ho said. They have no idea what New Seoul really is. They are expecting 3,000 civilians with farming tools. Instead, they will find a fully armed Earth Defense Force regiment with the most advanced weapons in human space. New Seoul was not just any military base, it was a prototype for a new kind of defense. Instead of building obvious fortresses that enemies could see and avoid, Earth Command had created hidden bases that looked like innocent colonies. The idea was simple, but brilliant. Enemies would attack what they thought was an easy target. Instead, they would find themselves fighting elite human soldiers with superior weapons and total surprise. What are our orders? Lee Bo-ram asked. Kim Tae-ho opened a sealed message from Earth Command. He had received it 6 months ago, but had never been authorized to read it until now. The code phrase from the approaching Vorthak fleet had activated the message. Directive 77 Alpha, Kim Tae-ho read. In the event of hostile contact, New Seoul Colony is authorized to use all necessary force to defend itself and eliminate threats. No quarter given. No survivors. The room was quiet. For a long moment, everyone understood what those orders meant. This would not be a battle where they captured prisoners or negotiated surrender. The Vorthak were coming to enslave or kill every human on New Seoul. The only response was total destruction. How do we handle the civilians? Han So-jin asked. Again. Emergency protocol, Kim Tae-ho decided. At dawn, we announce a surprise safety drill. All non-military personnel report to the underground shelters. Once the battle begins, they stay there until it is over. They will ask questions, Park Dong-woo said. Let them ask. We will give them answers after we win. Choi Min-ho checked his watch. Sir, if we are going to prepare, we need to start now. My people need time to get into position. Agreed. Lee Boram. Begin power-up sequences for all defensive systems. Make sure they stay hidden until the last moment. Yes, sir. The Vorthak will not see anything until we want them to. Yoon Jae-sung. Distribute weapons to all military personnel. Full combat loadout. Already in progress, sir. Everyone will. Be armed and ready by dawn. Han So-jin. Prepare the medical center for combat operations. This could get bloody. Understood. We will be ready for anything. Park Dong-woo. Monitor all communications. I want to know everything the Vorthak are. Saying to each other, I am already listening, sir. They are very confident. They think this will be easy. Kim Tae-ho looked around the room one more time. These people had spent 8 years living double lives. During the day, they were colonists. At night, they were soldiers. They had families and friends who had no idea about their real mission. Any questions? Kim Tae-ho asked. What happens after? Choi Min-ho asked. After we destroy the Vorthak fleet? We go back to farming, Kim Tae-ho said. We rebuild anything that gets damaged. We continue our mission. New Seoul remains a peaceful agricultural colony that happens to be able to defend itself. And the Galaxy learns not to attack human colonies, Lee Boram added. Exactly. The Vorthak will spread the word. Other alien races will think twice before they come hunting humans. The meeting ended. One by one, the department heads left Kim Tae-ho's office. They walked quietly through the darkened colony, each going to prepare their people for battle. Kim Tae-ho remained alone in his office. Through his window, he could see the stars. Somewhere among them, 6 Vorthak warships were racing toward New Seoul, full of confident warriors who expected easy victory. Kim Tae-ho felt sorry for them. The Vorthak had conquered 17 alien races. They thought they knew everything about warfare, but they had never fought humans who were ready for them. Tomorrow would be different. Tomorrow, the galaxy would learn why humans had spread across the stars so quickly. It was not because they were peaceful farmers. It was because they were the most dangerous predators in the universe, and they were very good at hiding that fact. Kim Tae-ho opened his desk drawer and looked at the red button. Tomorrow, he would finally press it. Tomorrow, New Seoul would show its true face. The Vorthak thought they were hunting prey. They had no idea they were walking into the den of sleeping lions. Tomorrow, the lions would wake up. The morning alarm sounded across New Seoul at exactly 06 hour. Kim Tae-ho's voice echoed from speakers throughout the colony. Attention all residents. We are conducting an emergency safety drill today. All civilian personnel must report to the underground shelters immediately. This is not optional. Please bring basic supplies and remain calm. Families emerged from their homes looking confused and worried. Children clutched their parents' hands as they walked toward the shelter entrances. Most people had never seen these shelters before. They had been told the underground areas were for storage. Lee Boram stood near Shelter 3, helping families find their assigned areas. An elderly woman grabbed her arm. Boram, what is happening? Why do we need the shelters? Just a safety drill, Mrs. Park, Lee Boram said gently. We practice these things to keep everyone safe. You will be more comfortable down below. But Mrs. Park was not convinced. In 8 years, we have never had a drill like this. Something is wrong. Lee Boram guided the woman toward the shelter entrance. Please trust us. Everything will be fine. Across the colony, the same scene played out. Real colonists asked questions, while disguised soldiers gave calm answers. Children cried, parents worried, but everyone moved toward the shelters because they trusted their leaders. Choi Min-ho watched from near the main greenhouse. His farmers were helping with the evacuation, but they moved differently now. Their casual movements had become precise and military. Their eyes constantly scanned for threats. How long until everyone is safe? Choi Min-ho asked into his hidden radio. 20 minutes, came Han So-jin's voice. The medical staff is moving. The last families now. In the underground command center, Park Dong-woo monitored the approaching Vorthak fleet. The 6 ships had accelerated during the night. They would arrive 3 hours ahead of schedule. Sir, they will be here in 2 hours, Park Dong-woo reported to Kim Tae-ho. They are already broadcasting on our communication frequencies. Kim Tae-ho put on his headset. The Vorthak transmission was exactly what he expected. Human colony, this is War Commander Krex Thul of the Vorthak Empire. You will surrender immediately. Prepare for occupation. Any resistance will result in death. Send our standard response. Kim Tai-ho ordered. Park Dong-woo opened a channel. Vorthak Fleet, this is New Seoul Colony Administrator Kim Tai-ho. We are a peaceful farming settlement. We have no weapons and pose no threat. Please leave us alone. The reply came quickly. Krex Thul's voice was full of confidence. Humans, you have 30 minutes to surrender unconditionally. Gather in your main plaza with your hands visible. Anyone who hides or runs will be hunted down and killed. Kim Tai-ho smiled grimly. Perfect. They think we are terrified farmers. Keep playing the part, Dong-woo. Yes, sir. Should I beg for mercy? Make it convincing. Park Dong-woo changed his voice to sound frightened. Please, Commander Krex Thul. We have families here, children. We are not soldiers. We just grow food. Surely we can reach some agreement. The only agreement is your complete surrender. You have 29 minutes. The transmission ended. Kim Tai-ho activated the colony-wide military channel. Suddenly, the voices of 47 disguised soldiers filled his headset. All units, this is command. Civilians are secure. Begin final preparations. Remember, we have one chance to surprise them. Make it count. Throughout New Seoul, hidden panels slid open. Camouflaged weapon systems emerged from beneath fake farm equipment. The colony's true nature began to reveal itself. Lee Bo-ram activated the main defense grid from her hidden control room. What had looked like grain silos were actually plasma cannon towers. The water treatment plant concealed missile launchers. Even the children's playground had hidden gun positions. All defensive systems online, Lee Bo-ram reported. Power at 100%. We are ready. Yoon Jae-sung distributed the last of the military equipment. Each soldier received a full combat suit, energy weapons, and enough ammunition for an extended battle. The farming tools in his warehouses had been very special indeed. Weapons distribution complete, Yoon Jae-sung announced. All personnel are fully armed and in position. Han So-jin made final preparations at the medical center. Her surgical equipment was ready for battlefield injuries. More importantly, her medical supplies included advanced combat stimulants and healing accelerators that would keep human soldiers fighting even after serious wounds. Medical facilities ready for combat operations, Han So-jin reported. Trauma. Teams standing by. Choi Min-ho positioned his soldiers around the colony perimeter. To any observer, they still looked like farmers tending their crops. But each farmer now carried military-grade weapons and wore combat armor hidden under work clothes. Perimeter teams in position, Choi Min-ho reported. We have eyes on all approach vectors. In space, the Vorthak fleet moved into orbit around Kepler 442c. War Commander Krex Thul studied the planet below. New Seoul looked exactly as his intelligence had described, a small farming colony with no defenses. Scan for military installations, Krex Thul ordered. Negative, Commander. I detect only agricultural and residential structures. No weapons, no shields, no military signatures. Perfect. Begin landing operations. 3 ships will deploy troops to the surface. The others will remain in orbit to prevent escape. Dozens of Vorthak landing craft launched from the warships. Each craft carried 50 heavily armed warriors eager for easy victory. They had done this many times before. Human colonies always surrendered quickly. Park Dong-woo tracked the incoming landing craft on his sensors. Sir, 36 craft inbound, estimated 1,800 warriors in the first wave. Let them come, Kim Tai-ho said. Wait until they are committed to the landing before we reveal ourselves. The Vorthak landing craft approached New Seoul's atmosphere. Inside each craft, warriors checked their weapons and planned how to divide the human slaves. This would be over quickly. On the ground, Kim Tai-ho watched through hidden cameras as the alien craft descended. The moment of truth was approaching. 8 years of preparation would be tested in the next few minutes. All units, this is command. Enemy landing craft are entering atmosphere. Maintain concealment until my order. Remember, we have one chance to surprise them completely. The Vorthak craft landed in the fields around New Seoul. Warriors poured out, expecting to face frightened farmers with primitive weapons. Instead, they found empty fields and quiet buildings. "Where are the humans?" Sub-Commander Vextar asked through his radio. "Probably hiding," another warrior replied. "They always hide at first." War Commander Krexthul's voice boomed across all channels. "Search every building. Bring all humans to the main plaza. Kill any who resist." The Vorthak warriors advanced toward the colony buildings. They moved in standard formation, confident and casual. Some were already discussing how to divide the captured humans. In his command center, Kim Tae-ho watched the aliens spread across his colony. They had no idea they were walking into carefully prepared kill zones. Every step took them deeper into the trap. "Sir," Park Dong-woo said quietly, "all enemy forces are on the ground. No reserves remaining in orbit except ship crews." "Perfect. They have committed everything to the surface assault." Kim Tae-ho reached for the red button in his desk drawer. After 8 years, it was finally time. "All units, this is command. You are cleared to engage. I repeat, you are cleared to engage. Show them what humans can do." Kim Tae-ho pressed the red button. Across New Seoul, hidden weapon systems activated. Camouflaged soldiers threw off their disguises. The peaceful farming colony vanished, replaced by a fortress bristling with weapons. The Vorthak warriors stopped in confusion. Where had all these weapons come from? How had the humans hidden so much military equipment? "This is impossible," Sub-Commander Vextar whispered. Lee Bo-ram's voice echoed across the battlefield. "Welcome to New Seoul. Hope you enjoyed the surprise." The 7-minute war had begun, and the Vorthak were about to learn that humans were much more dangerous than they appeared. Time. 09:15. The battle begins. The first plasma bolt fired from what had been a grain silo struck a Vorthak landing craft dead center. The alien ship exploded in a ball of blue fire, taking 50 warriors with it. The peaceful morning air of New Seoul suddenly filled with the thunder of war. War Commander Krexthul watched from orbit in horror as his perfect battle plan collapsed in seconds. "What is happening down there?" he screamed into his communications system. "Sub-Commander." Vextar's terrified voice crackled through the radio. "Commander, the humans have weapons everywhere. This is not a farming colony. It is a military base." Time. 00:09:15:30. Lee Bo-ram activated the full defensive grid from her hidden command center. Across New Seoul, camouflaged weapon systems revealed themselves. The water treatment plant split, open to reveal missile launchers. The children's playground rose up on hidden platforms, exposing automatic plasma cannons. Even the pretty flower gardens contained pop-up gun turrets. "All defensive systems are online," Lee Bo-ram announced calmly. "Beginning systematic elimination of enemy forces." The Vorthak warriors on the ground were caught completely by surprise. They had expected to fight frightened farmers with simple weapons. Instead, they faced military-grade energy weapons operated by trained soldiers. Time. 09:16. Choi Min-ho emerged from the main greenhouse, but he was no longer dressed as a farmer. He wore full combat armor and piloted a 12-foot-tall mechanical suit that had been disguised as agricultural equipment. His voice boomed across the battlefield through external speakers. "Attention, Vorthak forces. You are trespassing on human territory. Leave now, or be destroyed." A group of alien warriors opened fire on his mech suit with their plasma rifles. The bolts struck Choi Min-ho's armor and bounced off harmlessly. He smiled inside his helmet. "Wrong choice," Choi Min-ho said. His mech suit's weapon systems activated. Twin energy cannons emerged from the shoulders. A particle beam projector extended from the right arm. The left arm revealed a rapid-fire plasma gun. Choi Min-ho's counterattack lasted 15 seconds. When the smoke cleared, 23 Vorthak warriors had been reduced to ash. Time. 09:16:45. Around the colony perimeter, 46 other farmers threw off their disguises and revealed combat armor. These were not ordinary colonists. They were members of the Earth Defense Force, 47th Special Operations Regiment, veterans of the worst battles in human space. Sergeant Kim Da-young had spent 8 years pretending to grow tomatoes. In reality, she was a sniper with 67 confirmed kills. She took position in what had appeared to be a water tower but was actually a sniper's nest. "This is Overwatch," Kim Da-young announced. "I have clear sight lines on all enemy positions. Beginning elimination sequence." Her rifle was not a simple projectile weapon. It fired concentrated energy beams that could penetrate Vorthak armor at ranges up to 3 kilometers. Her first shot took the head off a Vorthak sub-commander who was trying to organize his scattered forces. Time. Aero 9-17-15 Park Dong-woo activated the electronic warfare systems hidden beneath the colony's communication center. Powerful jamming signals reached into space, disrupting the Vorthak fleet's communications and sensor systems. Enemy fleet is now blind and deaf, Park Dong-woo reported. They cannot coordinate with ground forces or call for reinforcements. On the Vorthak flagship, War Commander Krex Thule found himself cut off from his warriors on the surface. His sensor screens showed only static. His communication systems produced only noise. "Get those systems back online," Krex Thule roared at his crew. "We are trying, Commander, but something is jamming us from the surface. The humans have advanced electronic warfare capabilities." Krex Thule could not believe what he was hearing. Human colonies were supposed to be defenseless. They were farmers and families, not soldiers with military technology. Time. Aero 9-17-45 Han. Sojin coordinated the battle from her medical center, which had transformed into a tactical command post. The medical equipment she had been maintaining for 8 years was actually advanced battlefield coordination technology. "All units, this is medical command. Enemy forces are in full retreat toward landing zones. Do not let them reach their ships." Her teams of medical assistants were actually forward observers who painted targets for the colony's weapons systems. What had appeared to be ambulances were actually mobile command vehicles equipped with the most advanced sensors in human space. Time. 09 hours on 18:30 Yoon. Jae-sung opened his supply warehouses, revealing enough military equipment to arm a small army. Automated defense drones poured out of storage buildings that the Vorthak had thought contained farming supplies. "Deploying hunter-killer drones," Yoon Jae-sung announced. "Enemy forces will have nowhere to hide." The drones were small and fast, designed specifically for anti-personnel operations. Each one carried enough firepower to destroy a Vorthak warrior and enough speed to chase down any who tried to run. Time. Aero 9-19. The Vorthak ground forces were being systematically destroyed. Their weapons could not penetrate human armor. Their warriors could not match human speed and coordination. Their tactics meant nothing against enemies who had prepared for this exact scenario. Sub-Commander Vextar found himself pinned down behind a destroyed landing craft with only 12 surviving warriors. Around them, the sounds of battle were growing distant as his forces were eliminated one by one. "Commander Krex Thule," Vextar called desperately into his radio. "We need immediate evacuation. This is not a colony. This is a trap." But his transmission was blocked by human jamming. No one could hear his pleas for help. Time. 09:19:30 Kim. Taeho watched the battle from his command center with satisfaction. The plan was working perfectly. The Vorthak had expected easy prey and found dangerous predators instead. "Sir," Park Dong-woo reported, "enemy ground forces are down to 30% strength. Should we offer them a chance to surrender?" "Negative," Kim Tae-ho replied coldly. "Our orders are clear. No quarter given. No survivors." This was not cruelty. This was strategy. The galaxy needed to learn that attacking human colonies would result in complete destruction. Fear was a better deterrent than mercy. Time. Aero 9-20:15 Choi Min-ho's mech suit strode across the battlefield like a giant metal predator. His weapons systems had unlimited ammunition thanks to the portable fusion reactor hidden in his backpack. Every step took him closer to the remaining Vorthak forces. "This is Mech 1, Choi Min-ho announced. Moving to clean up the stragglers, his thermal sensors showed him exactly where the surviving Vorthak warriors were hiding. They could not escape his sight, and they could not survive his weapons. Time. Aero 9:20:45 in space, War Commander Krex Thule made a desperate decision. If he could not communicate with his ground forces, he would destroy the entire colony from orbit. His ship's main weapons could level New Sol in minutes. "Target the colony with all weapons," Krex Thule ordered. "If we cannot capture the humans, we will kill them all." But as his weapon systems charged, new contacts appeared on his sensors. Ships were dropping out of hyperspace behind his fleet. "Human ships!" "Commander," his navigator called in panic. Earth Defense Force vessels decloaking to our rear. 3 destroyers and a cruiser. Time, CO921. The trap was complete. The supply ships that had been visiting New Sol for 8 years had not been carrying farming equipment. They had been positioning Earth Defense Force vessels throughout the star system, waiting for exactly this moment. Captain Sarah Mitchell's voice came over the communication system from the EDF destroyer Vengeance. Vorthak Fleet, this is the Earth Defense Force. You are surrounded and outgunned. Surrender immediately. War Commander Krexthul looked at his tactical display. 4 human warships had appeared behind his fleet. On the surface, his 3,000 warriors were being slaughtered by what he had thought were peaceful farmers. How is this possible? Krexthul whispered. Time, 9:21:30. The answer was simple. New Sol had never been just a farming colony. It was a prototype for a new kind of human military strategy. Instead of building obvious fortresses that enemies could avoid, humans had created hidden military bases that looked like peaceful settlements. Every colonist was actually a soldier. Every farm building concealed weapons. Every supply delivery had positioned more military assets. The Vorthak had not attacked a defenseless colony. They had assaulted one of the most heavily fortified positions in human space. Time, 09:22. The last Vorthak warriors on the surface were eliminated by Choi Min-ho's mech suit. The ground battle was over. 3,000 alien invaders had been reduced to 0 in less than 7 minutes. In space, the Vorthak fleet found itself trapped between human warships and the planet's hidden orbital defenses. They could not fight, and they could not run. War. Commander Krexthul had one final choice to make. He could surrender and face interrogation, or he could die fighting. He chose to fight. It was the wrong choice. Time, 09:22:15, the final moments. War Commander Krexthul screamed his battle cry across all radio frequencies as his flagship opened fire on the human destroyer Vengeance. His plasma cannons lit up space with deadly energy, but the human ship's shields absorbed the impact easily. Captain Sarah Mitchell's calm voice responded, "Vorthak, Commander, you have chosen poorly. All ships weapons free. Destroy them." The space battle lasted exactly 47 seconds. The Earth Defense Force destroyers moved with precision that amazed even Krexthul in his final moments. Their weapons were more advanced than anything the Vorthak had ever seen. Their shields were stronger than Vorthak armor. Their tactics were flawless. One by one, the 6 Vorthak warships exploded in brilliant flashes of light. War Commander Krexthul's flagship was the last to die. As his bridge filled with fire and smoke, his final thought was a terrible realization. The humans had been waiting for this attack. They had wanted the Vorthak to come. Time, 9:23:02, total victory. The battle was over. On the surface of Kepler 442c, smoke rose from the wreckage of Vorthak landing craft. In space, debris from 6 alien warships drifted slowly away from the planet. The most feared race in this sector of the galaxy had been completely destroyed in just under 8 minutes. Kim Tae-ho stood in the main plaza of New Sol, surveying the battlefield. His soldiers were already cleaning up the wreckage. The hidden weapons were retracting back into their concealed positions. Soon New Sol would look like a peaceful farming colony again. "Casualty report," Kim Tae-ho requested. Han So-jin checked her medical data. 0 human deaths. 12 minor injuries, mostly cuts and bruises. Medical teams are treating everyone now. Lee Bo-ram was restoring the colony's systems to normal operation. All defensive systems are retracting. Power levels returning to civilian norms. In 1 hour, we will look like farmers again. Choi Min-ho parked his mech suit in the hidden bay, beneath the greenhouse. All enemy forces eliminated. No survivors to report back to their empire. Park Dong-woo was monitoring communications across the star system. "Sir, the EDF ships are requesting permission to dock. Captain Mitchell wants to debrief with you personally." "Granted. Tell her she is welcome to visit our farming colony." Yoon. Jae-sung was already organizing the cleanup effort. "We will have all equipment stored and camouflaged within 6 hours. Any future visitors will see only agricultural operations." Time, 10:30. The civilians. Return Kim Tae-ho activated the colony-wide communication system. "Attention all residents. The emergency drill is complete. You may now return to your homes and normal activities. Thank you for your cooperation. The real colonists emerged from the underground shelters, blinking in the bright morning sunlight. They looked around in confusion. The colony looked exactly the same as it had before the drill, but there was a smell of smoke in the air and scorch marks on some buildings. Mrs. Park approached Lee Boram with worried eyes. "Boram, what happened up here? We heard loud noises underground." "Just testing some new equipment," Lee Boram said with a gentle smile. "Some of the machinery made more noise than we expected. Sorry if it frightened you." The elderly woman was not completely convinced, but she trusted Lee Boram. "Well, as long as everyone is safe." "Everyone is very safe, Mrs. Park. Safer than they have ever been." Time: 12 odd. The message spreads. Captain Sarah Mitchell met with Kim Tae-ho in his office. She was a tall woman with gray hair and eyes that had seen many battles. She looked impressed with what she had witnessed. "Administrator Kim, that was the most perfect military operation I have ever seen," Captain Mitchell said. "Your people performed flawlessly." "Thank you, Captain. We have had 8 years to prepare. The Vorthak Empire will notice that their strike force never returned. They will send scouts to investigate." Kim Tae-ho smiled. "Let them come. They will find a peaceful farming colony with very friendly people. We grow excellent vegetables." Captain Mitchell laughed. "And if they decide to attack? Then they will discover that our vegetables are surprisingly well defended." The captain's expression became serious. "This victory will change things across the galaxy. Word will spread that human colonies are not easy targets." That is the idea. Peace through superior firepower hidden in plain sight. Time: 14. Back to normal by afternoon, New Seoul looked exactly as it had the day before. Children played in the plaza while their parents worked in the fields. The greenhouse where Choi Min-ho's mech suit was hidden now contained only tomatoes and lettuce. The grain silos that had fired plasma cannons were once again full of wheat. Han So-jin treated a small girl who had scraped her knee. The medical center showed no sign that it had coordinated a military operation just hours before. The surgical equipment that could save soldiers' lives was hidden beneath examination tables that treated everyday illnesses. Yoon Jae-sung distributed supplies to the colonists. His warehouses once again appeared to contain only farming tools and household goods. The weapons that had destroyed an alien army were invisible beneath false walls and hidden compartments. Lee Boram checked the power grid, making sure everything appeared normal. The fusion reactors that had powered advanced weapons now quietly provided electricity for homes and streetlights. The sensors that had tracked enemy ships were disguised as weather monitoring equipment. Park Dong-woo sent routine reports to Earth. Command: to anyone intercepting the communications, they would seem like boring agricultural data. Crop yields, weather patterns, and supply requests. No mention of the Vorthak fleet that had been destroyed. Time: 18 key. The new legend across the galaxy, the story of the 7-minute war, began to spread. The Vorthak Empire noticed that War Commander Krexthul's strike force had simply vanished. Their most experienced warriors had been sent to capture an easy target and had never returned. Other alien races heard whispers about a human colony that had somehow destroyed an entire Vorthak fleet. Most dismissed these stories as impossible. Humans were weak. Human colonies were defenseless. Everyone knew this. But some alien leaders were more careful. They looked at their star charts and noticed how many defenseless human colonies were scattered across the galaxy. They wondered if perhaps humans were not as helpless as they appeared. The Krillian Empire canceled plans to raid human shipping lanes. The Ethereal Collective decided to offer trade agreements instead of making territorial demands. The Zephyrian Syndicate quietly removed human worlds from their target lists. Fear was spreading faster than any fleet could travel. The galaxy's predators were learning that humans might be more dangerous than anyone had imagined. Time: 20 chest. The harvest. Festival that evening, New Seoul held its scheduled harvest festival as planned. The entire colony gathered in the main plaza to celebrate another successful growing season. There was food, music, and dancing. Children played games while adults shared stories and laughter. To any observer, it was a perfect picture of peaceful, agricultural life. Families enjoying simple pleasures together. No sign that these same people had destroyed an alien invasion force just hours earlier. Kim Tae-ho sat at a table with Lee Bo-ram, Park Dong-woo, Han So-jin, Yoon Jae-sung, and Choi Min-ho. They ate fresh bread and vegetable soup while watching the children perform a traditional dance. "Do you think they will come again?" Lee Bo-ram asked quietly. "Someone will," Kim Tae-ho replied. "Maybe not the Vorthak, but someone. The galaxy is full of predators who think humans are easy prey." "Let them come," Choi Min-ho said with a smile. "We grow excellent crops, and our farming equipment is very advanced. The important thing," Han So-jin added, "is that our real colonists never have to know how dangerous their lives really are. They can raise their families in peace." Park Dong-woo raised his cup of fruit juice. "To New Seoul. May our enemies always underestimate us." "To New Seoul," they all replied. Time: 22. The Guardian's rest as night fell over New Seoul. The colony settled into its peaceful routine. Families went to bed in their comfortable homes. Children dreamed of tomorrow's adventures. The elderly shared stories and planned for the future. Kim Tae-ho walked through the quiet streets, checking on his people. Everything was perfect. The colony was safe, productive, and happy. Most importantly, it was ready. Hidden beneath a peaceful surface, weapons waited in silent readiness. Soldiers rested but remained alert. Advanced technology slept but could awaken instantly. New Seoul looked like a farming colony, but it was actually the most dangerous place in human space for any enemy foolish enough to attack it. Kim Tae-ho returned to his office and opened his final log entry for the day. New Seoul Colony Daily Report. Weather: clear and mild. Crop yields: excellent. Population: happy and secure. Military status: all threats eliminated. Recommendation: continue agricultural operations. He closed the log and looked out his window at the stars. Somewhere among them, other human colonies maintained their own secrets. Each one appeared defenseless, but was actually a fortress. Each one looked like prey, but was actually a predator. The galaxy thought it knew humans. It thought humans were soft, weak, and easy to conquer. The galaxy was wrong. Humans did not build colonies. They built traps and called them homes. They did not farm planets. They prepared battlefields and grew food while waiting for enemies to arrive. The 7-minute war was over, but its legend would last forever. Across the Gie,